All right, welcome back to another episode. We appreciate you coming back as always. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. This is the Christmas episode. No. Next one will be the Christmas episode-ish. Happy holidays anyway. Thank you for listening as always. If you can, please click that subscribe button. Share it with a friend. And leave a comment. These podcast platforms like Apple and Spotify, they're now adding new features for listeners so they're able to do more. So if you have features on your podcast app and you're able to click a plus button, a thumbs up button, a subscribe button, a download button, anything you can do that would help us out immensely, and we appreciate you doing that. Want to thank Adam Chubbuck with Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland. That's Team Alpha Charlie with Douglas Realty. That's tacmd.com, tacmd.com. Talk to Adam if you're looking to buy. The Fed just lowered interest rates. Now, that doesn't naturally correspond to mortgage rates directly, but it does sound like interest rates might be coming down in the near future. So if you are a buyer or a seller, now is the time to talk to a real estate agent if you plan on making moves in the real estate market. Want to thank him for his support as always. All right. This is going to be a nuanced episode, a little bit. A little bit of grinds my gears, a little bit of what the fuck are we doing, a little bit of the system sucks, a little bit of damn. Like, I don't know how else to put it. All right, so, without further ado, I believe in our last health episode, or maybe the one before that, I kind of mentioned how I was having some issues with a bunch of new medicines and changing some medicines ever since I went on the GLP-1. So I went on the GLP-1, which was tirzepatide, back in about March of 2025 this year. Didn't really have too many issues.
Because the first one you tried effed you up, right?
That was semaglutide. That was in 2024. And yes, that fucked me up. Like, I was in bed for 3-4 days.
Yeah.
Just couldn't get out. This one, I was nauseous a little bit on the first dose. It was the lowest dose possible. A little bit nauseous. Lasted about a day, but I was fine. And then after that, didn't really have an issue. I actually just used a compounded version rather than the Eli Lilly version. And similar effect to when I did the semaglutide from the compounder as well. So I'm wondering if it's the same compounder, if it's whatever they're compounding the drug with. Maybe it's the secondary ingredient that's bothering me. Actually going to talk to the doctor tomorrow about that, so I'll find out more. But so I went from 2.5 milligrams to 5 milligrams, so the second dose up. And then I started noticing having some issues. So part of it was when driving, kind of like hard to focus. But like, I'm aware, but it's like my eyes won't focus on something. And if I look at something too long, it almost like blurs it out and then creates an issue as far as depth perception and everything else. So I got to keep my eyes moving. And then also some anxiety issues that have built up. So worse than normal. Like going over like the Severn Bridge, I would have a physical fight or flight reaction. Like the tingles in the back of the neck, the arms, short breathing. That didn't happen before. Now I would get that going over the Bay Bridge, but that was really the only bridge it would happen on. Now it's starting to happen on like small bridges and even occasionally an overpass, which is wild to me. Because you don't even, most times, unless there's a change in the type of road it is, you don't really even know you're on it. Mm-hmm. It's not like I could see over.
Right.
Like, it's just part of the road. Like, I don't know. So, a lot of this is baffling to me, right? So then, of course, one of the things we did was we upped my Zoloft dose. So we went from 50 milligrams, which is barely even an adult dose of it, apparently, to try and get me to 100. Well, I tried to go to 100, had a horrible response, so then we just scaled it back to 75, which is where I'm at now. But at the increased dose of Zoloft, it should mitigate those it should mitigate the ramping up of fight or flight. it should be able to handle that, right? I shouldn't need to use Xanax to cover that. But it wasn't helping. And things progressively got even worse. Some days better, some days worse. Who knows, right? But definitely out of the ordinary. And so I'm like, okay, what else has changed? Well, I've been on the GLP-1 for about 10 months at this point. And I'm also on another drug called Lamodal. Now, for people that don't know what that is, if you have IBS-D, they can use Lamodal to slow motility down in the gut, which is also what the GLP-1 does. Mm-hmm. But then it's also part opioid. Now, when I say opioid, it's called diphenoxylate.
Okay.
So there's it's a dual drug, diphenoxylate and atropine. Atropine is a form of morphine. Diphenoxylate's a type of opioid, which helps with the brain regulation. But what it does is it slows the motility down so you don't have a spastic colon, which is what I have. Mm-hmm. So for me, it's like, even without any food or anything in me, like I will get hard cramps and cause an immediate need to go shit. Mm-hmm. And then sometimes if I don't eat, I'll have just the cramps and can't shit because there's nothing in there.
Right.
Like I'll go until there's bile coming out, and it won't be able to stop. So the diphenoxylate and the atropine, they work to it so it'll stop the spasms, which were involuntary. Like I had a colonoscopy when I was 26. Camera went up. I actually clamped on the camera unconscious.
Oh, wow.
So it's not a conscious reaction for me. Mm-hmm. It's just my body does it involuntarily. Okay. Well, one of the problems with taking tirzepatide, and by the way, from here on out, I'm finding this through ChatGPT, by the way. And I'll get to why I'm getting to that. ChatGPT basically says because both of them slow motility in the gut could be absorbing more of the diphenoxylate in the 2 pills from each morning, which could then be spiking the opioid and causing more anxiety. Mm-hmm. Now, is it true? I got no fucking clue. It's ChatGPT.
Right, it's a robot somewhere.
Right. And I asked the doctor that put me on the GLP-1. He's like, well, we don't know. The only way to find out would be to go off of one. Okay, well, I'm already on the GLP-1. I am losing weight on this thing. I'm holding at 280. Mm-hmm. I haven't gone up in weight. So it's working.
Yeah.
I really don't want to lose momentum, even though I've been stagnated for 2 months.
Yeah. Well, you don't want to go backwards either.
But I don't want to go backwards. Like, I remember there was a little short week where I went up to 288. I was like, oh, fuck, here we go. Mm-hmm. I got right back down to 281. Yeah. Right? I'm right back down. So I don't want to lose that progress. Okay, so what does ChatGPT say to do? ChatGPT says, well, let's try and wean you off Lamodal. Because this rush of diphenoxylate, because it's absorbing too much in your gut, well, if we reduce down to 1 pill, or maybe no pills, it won't have the reaction anymore, or less of. I'm like, sounds reasonable. So I've been going down to 1 pill. Now, of course, they said there will be rebound cramping, and there has been. But they said after about 7 days, it should even out. Mm-hmm. Okay. And so the reason why I'm going to ChatGPT is because there's a lot of doctors involved in this, right? There's the ENT who's testing me for vertigo. So I went to the physical therapist. There's no vertigo. Could be something else with the eyes, which, again, I went to the eye doctor, checked my prescription. They gave me a new prescription. This one sucks too. Like, my left eye fucking hurts. Like, when it tries to focus on shit, it hurts. So something's going on there. So I got an ENT, a physical therapist, the optometrist, the gastroenterologist who prescribes the Lamodal, my primary care, who is also in charge of like the atorvastatin and the other just general health shit. And then I got the other nutritionist guy he's an actual MD, he's an internist who deals with the GLP-1. And none of them are going to talk to each other.
No.
To try and figure this thing out. I'm like, hey, I have a unique situation here. I would really like the 5 of you to sit down and try and figure this out. But right now, the person who's trying to coordinate all this is me.
The least educated of all of them.
Correct.
And ChatGPT.
Yes. And so, well, that's the thing. Because I don't have an MD, where am I going to go? Well, of course I'm going to go to ChatGPT because it's there.
Yeah.
And it's responsive. And we can get to that in a minute about AI. One of the comforting things about it is it fucking responds right away.
Oh, yeah.
It's on call 24/7. Now, I'm not saying humans should do that, but at the same time, it's doing the research. It's going through thousands of web pages and giving me back information about what I'm asking, right? There's some use to that. The problem is I don't know if it's right. I mean, we're talking about AI. It's the same thing that when someone typed in, show me a white family, got a black family picture. Like, okay, that was fucking wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I wanted to play a prank on my wife. So I took a picture of myself and I said, show, what would I look like with a mustache? And it sent me a picture back with a beard, which is what I have. So essentially it dyed my beard and sent it back. I said, no, a mustache. And then it came back. So with a mustache. I thought I looked okay. I sent it around. She hated it and was like, you didn't do that, did you? And of course I didn't, but she had look at it enough to see. But yeah, so this is the thing they couldn't figure out the difference between a mustache and a beard.
Well, and for people that have seen our thumbnails, I mean, it also spelled the word adult wrong. So we have a thumbnail from the last one that says adulate gifts. It's supposed to be adult gifts. It's like, so this is what and the funny thing, like we were talking about this, like this is what we're depending on. Like, this is what Elon Musk says is going to take all the jobs. I don't think so, man. It can't even... And the funny thing is, with a lot of these AI models, so you got Grok, Gemini, ChatGPT, Perplexity, and there's a couple others out there, they make mistakes regularly. But if you have someone who's kind of desperate for information, correct information, that's where people are going to turn. Like for me, it's like when you're in bed at night and you're having some kind of a reaction, you want to make sure this isn't the end.
Yeah.
So you're going to Google. Well, in this case, you're going to ChatGPT it. Because now, the one good thing about these AI models is I can type in basically the search term and it will give me... It will do all of the research in all of those different websites, so I don't have to click on each one of them. And it'll give me the information. Unless it just decides to make shit up. Which it does. Like, surprisingly not. So, like, there have been some examples where people have given, like, just lob softballs to these AI models. And they just make shit up. And they said, did you just make shit up? And it goes, yeah, I did.
So
it, like, admits to it.
Oh, yeah. So a buddy of mine's a lawyer, and he said, hey, give me case law about XYZ and prepare an argument based upon this. And it does. So then he reads it, and he wasn't going to actually use it, but he just wanted to test it. And so he goes, he's pulling, some of the cases don't even exist. It's just making, the Earl v. Stanford 1976 California Supreme Court. It's like, well, it's just made this stuff completely up. And he asked, did you make it up? He's like, yep.
And so it's interesting. So the ChatGPT is basically having me wean off of the Lamodal. And so I sent it to the doctor. I sent him the whole thing. Like, it was a long ChatGPT conversation. I sent him the whole thing. But I kind of like broke down, like, it's like, look, just go to the red parts, and because like I wrote and read my thoughts.
Yeah.
But you're talking like 6-7 pages of conversation at this point. And I was like, hey, would you mind reading this? He goes, look, this is a lot for an email. He goes, let's do a visit. I'm like, okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm meeting with him tomorrow. But his recommendation right away was, let's stop the GLP-1 and not stop the Lamodal.
Yeah. Is this the gastroenterologist?
No, this is the guy that manages the GLP-1 and the weight loss portion of it. So he's the one that's putting me on the vitamins, the vitamin D, the vitamin B, the testosterone, the vitamin C, and the GLP-1. Now, again though, I'm gonna be hesitant to go off any of this. I would almost rather try to go off the Lamodal just to see if it works. If it means I can keep doing the GLP-1, so I can keep losing the weight. But at the same time, yeah, you got to follow the advice of the doctor rather than the computer at this point. I would think like that would be my thinking on this. So I'll be interested to see what he's got to say. My worry is he's gonna not do the research I need him to do. At this point, I need a medical professional to really look into this. You're gonna have to look into studies about Lamodal, which not a lot of people take. I get it. Or consult a gastroenterologist who has done this stuff. Maybe they know of the interaction between the two drugs. Like there might not be noted interactions, but knowing how pharmacologically both of them work, and that's where the ChatGPT kind of came in. It's like, look, they're both slowing motility down. Your gut's going slower than it was, so yeah, there might be more of an uptake of this one drug because of that, and that makes sense, right? So now ChatGPT did the preliminary work. Now I need a doctor to look at this, read the whole thing, and I need them to kind of look into it, see if this does this whole. It's kind of like in My Cousin Vinny when, Vinny's like, does the defendant's case hold water? Yeah. Look, does ChatGPT's situation hold water, or is it fucking completely shit? But at this point, I'm almost 6 months into this from August when it started, and it's making it increasingly difficult to be functioning normally.
Right.
And then the other part of it is mental fatigue. Every day I got to fucking think about this shit. Because it's not like it just goes away.
No, it stays.
It just stays. Yeah. It's not like the anxiety portion stays. It's like trying to solve the problem stays. And it's just, it's like people who do research or something and they're just looking at the research. Your brain gets tired. You get physically fatigued from mental work. And so, I was telling my wife this the other day. She's like, because she goes, "How you doing?" I was like, "I'm fatigued. I'm tired. It's a pain to think about this all the time because I'm trying to solve the problem. Because at the end of the day, I'm hoping there's a solution. If there isn't a solution, that's going to be a rough one to sit with. But I think what the other doctor is thinking is, all right, let's get rid of the drugs one by one that we had added. You didn't have this problem before March, and that was the only thing we added since, other than the increase in the Zoloft, but the increase in the Zoloft was in the reaction to the symptoms, right? So I think his theory is, okay, let's get you off of the last thing we put you on, because you were fine before that. Solid theory. That makes sense too, just like the other one does. So I do wish that, and there's two takeaways. One, I wish that, I know healthcare for everyone, all that bullshit, yes. I think the way healthcare needs to be done in this country, and I don't know anywhere that does it the way I'm going to propose it being done, but maybe rather than having a doctor have, and you mentioned this before the show, have a case manager. And some of these health insurers are trying to go to that model. I know, I'm with Care First, and they were trying to go to that model, but it didn't take. I don't know who the case manager is.
Right.
Hey, introduce yourself. Say assert yourself into the situation, rather than don't do it passively. Let me know who the fuck you are.
Yeah, and that's what when my father-in-law was still alive, he saw multiple specialists. There was the orthopedist, there was there's the orthopedist for his spine, and there was the one for his feet, and then there was of course the cardiologist, there was the regular doctor, the internist, then there was the dude that worked with just his diabetes. There was all these different doctors, and they're just all throwing drugs at him for all these different things, and he's taking all the drugs because the doctor said to. So I went and looked at he had an episode of some sort. He was in the hospital, and I said, "Let me see his list of medication," which was impressive. So I go through this thing, and I put it all in, and this is before ChatGPT, so I just put it all into Google, and I said, what's contraindicated? There's all kinds of stuff contraindicated with all kinds of other stuff, because nobody's looking at it. And I think especially with older people, they just trust what the doctor says. Well, the doctor is not looking at your whole thing. You go to the doctor for issue A, and the doctor throws drugs at issue A and collects money and sees you later. Meanwhile, no one is actually looking at coordinating the entire care and realizing that, hey, now I guess someone in there should, maybe the pharmacist, I don't know. But if you're getting these drugs from all these different places, you go to the patient first for this pain, like, oh, it's gout. Well, here's gout medicine. And then you go to this other doctor for, for diabetic nerve pain, like, oh, here's Lyrica for that. And then you go to this other doctor, and then here's this, and then here's that. Well, if none of those people ever talk to one another, and the drugs are coming from different places, there's no check, there's no safety valve to go and say, hey, time out. Like, none of this stuff should be, this stuff covers what this stuff does, and that thing is contraindicated with this other thing. If no one is kind of in charge, they're all just doing their thing, and really, rather than looking at each individual problem, and I think that's what we're symptom-based treating everything, when really it should be, let's have a more positive health outcome overall. And I don't think that's the goal. I think the goal is to just throw drugs at it and make you go away.
Well, and you brought up a point about the pharmacists. So shouldn't the pharmacists be looking at this? But then you throw in a whole nother topic of, so I get a majority of my prescriptions from CVS.
Mm-hmm.
The GLP-1 comes from a different pharmacy because my insurance didn't cover it through CVS.
Yeah.
So I went through a self-pay model, which was at the time direct through Eli Lilly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so the pharmacist doesn't know I'm on the GLP-1.
Right.
Right? And then there's the vitamins, right? Who knows what these... look, I'm sure vitamins are great, but who's to say vitamin B3 or B2 or whatever B there is really not interacting? Like, if you take niacin, which is a B vitamin,
mm-hmm.
and some people think it's a natural way to lower cholesterol, well, if you take a lot of niacin, it can create in some people, it can create a tingling feeling. It can feel like anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
And it causes sweating and whatnot. So for not everyone is good with niacin. But if a doctor looks at it and just says, oh, it's vitamin B3 or B4, whatever it is, it's just vitamin B. No, not everyone reacts well to it though.
Yeah.
So you need someone, a singular pharmacist, to be able to look at all your medications. And then this also goes into this. Like the other day I had a sinus infection. So I went to the Priority Care Clinic and he prescribed Augmentin for 14 days plus methylprednisolone, which is like a synthetic prednisone.
Mm-hmm.
So now I've got that in my system. Now I told him all the medicines, but you think some dude in a minute clinic knows all the contradictions or interactions of all of those drugs?
Yeah, no.
Of course not.
Yeah. And I think there's a way where if they put it in your chart, if there is something contraindicated, it'll pop up and say, you can't take this, or if you have an allergy.
But who even knows if at a minute clinic, who knows if they're putting it, you write everything out on paper. You think someone's actually inputting that shit?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
No, they're happy to take your $200 from your
mm-hmm.
insurance company,
mm-hmm.
and that's why those minute clinics, they got kind of slapped on the wrist for overprescribing antibiotics, because people were going in for sinus infections, ear infections, whatever, and even if they didn't have one, they were just saying, well, an antibiotic won't hurt.
Yeah.
And so they got slapped on the wrist. Now with a lot of them, you got to say you've had the symptoms for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
If you haven't had the symptoms for a week or 10 days, they won't prescribe it.
Yeah.
But they're not looking at all of the stuff, and they're not pharmacists. Like that's not how they operate. So like there needs to be some kind of health coordination. It's almost like you need another person, another profession within the medical field just call it care coordinator or whatever. They don't need an MD, but they need a reliable tool where they can put all of these symptoms and drugs in a system and basically say, or more or less, just contact all the doctors the person's seeing, so all the information is central.
Yeah.
And then maybe there's one doctor behind like 8 care coordinators. Mm-hmm. And if something flags, or if a patient says, "Hey, I'm feeling off," or whatever, all right, now the doctor can come in and look. But at least all the information is in one place.
Yeah.
Like, there has to be a better way than what this is, because I don't wish that all the interactions and stuff that I've had to go through over the years on anybody. Between the mental shit, the physical shit, actual shit, for the IBS, there's that. Especially at this part of life, 46 years old. I got 2 kids that got to get places. I need to fucking be able to drive.
Yeah.
I mean, if I can't, I can't. Like, I'm not disabled. Like, I'm walking around, I'm doing shit. And not to say that people who are disabled can't walk around and do shit. I'm not saying, but I went from not having issues to having issues, right? And nothing physical happened to me.
Right. It's all you got hit on the head.
Right. I didn't, like, there's nothing like that. So I need this to be explained to me. And it's like nobody's ordered a CT scan or an MRI to see if there's some kind of growth in the brain.
Right.
Or what if it's just over-inflammation of my sinuses, and whatever, like all the medicating I've been doing for sinuses, like fluticasone or Zyrtec, maybe that's not doing the trick anymore. Maybe there's polyps in there. I don't know. But like a lot of the pain and disorientation comes from the sinus areas, but also in the middle of the brain. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the back of the brain, the back of the brain would indicate stress, right? But the middle of the brain is some different area.
Right. Some nether region.
Sure. The front of the brain is generally anxiety. But who knows? But here's the thing, though. I shouldn't be the one trying to figure this shit out.
Right. Especially when you're paying other people who have a lot more, at least credentials than you do.
Yeah.
To do it.
And the problem is, like, okay, you go to the doctor. Okay, that's one bill. You go to the doctor. Another bill. Well, our insurance covers a well visit, an annual physical. Great. Mm-hmm. Don't charge for that. Every other visit is $10. Okay, so there's a cost aspect of this that's going to keep adding up. But then there's a time aspect. I can't be spending every other day in a doctor's office and we're not figuring shit out.
Yeah.
Like, why can't some of this be done over email? Why can't... Charge me for an office visit because you read an email. I don't care.
Make it like a lawyer.
Right.
Where you send them an email and they're billing you.
Right.
Billable hours or whatever.
They should be able to charge my insurance for an office visit if all they did was take the information I gave them and read it for an hour. It's an hour either way.
They charge you for an office visit if you do a telehealth appointment.
Right. Or the other, like, if I were to go in the office, print out the email, and have them sit there and read it while I sit there, it's an office visit.
Yeah.
Okay. Why can't that happen? Why do I need to go?
Right.
Because now you're adding up the time, right? I got to make this, but okay, now I got to wait 6 weeks to get an appointment. I got to wait 5 weeks. I mean, shoot, even the eye doctor, like, to go get my eyes rechecked for whatever's going on with these glasses, they're like, well, we can't book you until the new year in January. A month to see an optometrist. Mm-hmm. Not an ophthalmologist.
Right.
An optometrist. A dude that checks your eyes for your prescription. Mm-hmm. Could I go to another one? Sure, but this is the one that already did it. Like, I would rather go back to him.
Yeah.
Because he's already aware of the situation. He's aware of the problem I'm trying to solve. And it's just, I could see how, like, let's say this was something serious. And it could be, I don't know. But let's say it's something serious. And let's say my symptoms started in March, what they did. They started in August, right? I am now about 5 months from August. Mm-hmm. Let's say I had a care coordinator that we could have had this problem solved by September or October or November if it was something serious. Early detection is the best weapon, right?
Yeah.
Well, let's say this doesn't get completely figured out until February. Now we're 7 months in.
Mm-hmm.
Why is it on me, the patient, who's paying the monthly premium for the insurance plan, paying the co-pays? Like, I'm the one paying into this. There should be some expectation of care and service.
I think in Japan, and this is old, but I had heard that in Japan, like, if they don't make you better, they don't get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the doctor's job is to make you better. So if they don't, like, you'd be like, because, you know, if you kept taking your car to the same, well, you did, taking your car to mechanics, they're just not fixing it. You go to a different mechanic, or they don't do the work, then they got to repair it. You know, they got to fix it for free. So you take it in for a transmission, and you bring it back, and they botch the job. They got to redo it, and that mechanic's redoing it. You know, on the return visit, same problem. They're not, you know, to fix their error. You're not paying them again.
Right. Well, and that's like if I were to start with a new doctor, the new doctor's got to. Let's say another doctor didn't do what they were supposed to do. He's got to search the work that the previous doctor did and fix it. Like the mechanic, like I had, like with the U joints.
Yeah.
The guy I had do the U joints twice. I took it to the second mechanic. He sends me a video of the U joints moving. That's not how they're supposed to be. Mm-hmm. But half of his time was going into rechecking the work from the other guy based on what I told him.
Right.
So it's like you need someone who could either coordinate this, or it's like, or sometimes you go each of these individual doctors. Like if I go to the gastro doctor, he's gonna be like, well, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't know what's going on with your head. Mm-hmm. Okay, but is your drug causing the issue with my head?
Yeah.
The drug you're prescribing me, the one that you should know everything about, is that doing something to my head? Mm-hmm. Well, no, it's in your gut. But could it be doing something to my head?
Right. Well, there's a direct connection between your gut and your and your head.
Correct.
So,
but he's not a psychiatrist, and he doesn't know. Okay, well, the psychiatrist doesn't know about your gut. So now you're in a loop.
Right.
Between the therapist and the GI doctor.
Maybe if they talk to each other.
Or could one person just do the research?
Yeah.
Research both drugs that I'm on. Research all of them. Well, that's what a pharmacist does. Well, okay, so now now it's me going to the pharmacist. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no care coordinator to say, okay, here's the problem, and then go to the different factions and say, okay, well, what about this? What about this? What about, or this study, this study, this study. And so where I ended up going was ChatGPT.
Yeah. And it's almost like the way it is now, it would be like a defense out there playing football with no defensive coordinator. So, like, the defensive backs coaches are telling them to do one thing, linebackers coaches tell them to do one thing, and they're all doing their own thing, and nothing is like, yeah, they might be really good, might have the best defensive back in the world, but if they're not running a certain play or a certain scheme, they don't know what the other people are doing.
Right. You're sitting there hoping that when the play starts and each section of the defense does what it wants to do,
and it happens to be the right thing.
And it happens to stop the touchdown because it all worked in unison.
Yeah.
Or you got to hope that the D-line doesn't fuck up enough to where the linebackers and safeties can't compensate and stop the touchdown.
Right.
And
the safety's going to blitz, so the outside linebacker has to drop into coverage.
Right.
But they both blitz. So now no one's in coverage, and they throw a dime. So
this brings me to the point about AI. For people who, I got a feeling professionals or white collar folks are probably going to get the most frustrated with other people using AI, essentially using it as a double check to the human. Like, well, you should just trust me. Okay. Yeah. Should I?
Right.
Well, it's like, okay, it's like I go to a tax person, they do my taxes, I run them through AI, and it says you missed $3,000 worth of deductions. And then that person was like, no, you're not eligible for this one, this one, this one. Well, why not? The AI says I am. So now you're basically sitting there putting one against the other. Okay, you, the human, have to show me why the AI is wrong. Mm-hmm. I will ask the AI why you're wrong, and let's see. If you were that good at your job, I wouldn't have to do this. And I could see an accountant being like, fuck it, this isn't worth my time. I'll do 2 other people's taxes instead of yours. That'll take me just as much time as you're bitching and moaning. Mm-hmm. And I got a feeling that's where a lot of this is going to end up. Especially like you said with lawyers. Let's say, for example, I got a case, and I really want to make sure this dude doesn't fuck up, because otherwise I'm going to jail. I'm going to go to ChatGPT, and every meeting, the lawyer's going to look at me going, this fucking asshole with ChatGPT again. Fuck you, I'm not taking you out as a client.
Right.
Okay. Now that service provider has to worry that you're going to go online and pretty much say, this guy's a fucking idiot. I had ChatGPT do this, and oh, by the way, it was right. It's only going to take one time for it to be right and for that professional to be wrong.
Yeah.
Before people just start using it more and more and more. Mm-hmm. And that's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. And then, because no one's going to write when the ChatGPT was wrong. Because ChatGPT is free.
Right.
No one, you know what? ChatGPT really fucked up my court case. Because the response is, you're an idiot for letting ChatGPT do your court case. It's not a conversation of, well, the lawyer wasn't. I couldn't afford a lawyer, or I had the worst lawyer on earth, or And I don't know how. I get it. Doctors are doctors. They all go to medical school. All this fun stuff. I'm sure there's a tier of doctors as well, right?
Well, yeah. When you and I were texting about this thing earlier, I had said that I've watched these doctors do their thing, and I say, aside from the surgeon that did my gastric sleeve and the guy that did, the surgeons, the guy that were actually cutting me open and doing, a lot of them I'm pretty much wholly unimpressed with. Because I watched my former primary, I was telling her stuff that was going on, and she's putting it in some doctor version of Google. And I can do that. In fact, I did that, and you yelled at me for doing that because Google's not an MD.
Right.
Apparently this one is. Whatever thing it was.
It was the doctor version. It's like LexisNexis for lawyers.
Yeah. And going through it, I'm like, well, you just did the same thing I did. And then you throw drugs at me. So if you're just going to Google it and throw drugs at me, then let's just skip that step and I'll buy the drugs. Right?
Pretty much. It's just like, and look, I'm clearly coming from a place of frustration right now.
Yeah.
So take it for what it is. And I'm not saying any of the doctors are wrong. I'm just saying there doesn't seem to be a coordination amongst them. Mm-hmm. Because then on top of it, I've got a completely other and let me finish the thought. I got a completely other set of complications from when I had chemotherapy. So every year I go to my oncologist for an annual follow-up. Mm-hmm. And I kind of brought some of this up, and I saw him in August. And I was like, look, man, I don't know if this holds any water. Just let me know. I said, look, when I had those drugs when I was 29, so that's 17-ish years ago. Not good at math. I'm not great at math. 16, 17 years ago. I was like, could my body now at an older age be showing the neurological issues from those drugs when I was 29? Essentially, had the drugs, it did the damage. My body was young enough to kind of compensate for it, but now that I'm older, it's not. Mm-hmm. Something in chemistry-wise inside of me is not compensating enough for whatever it is. I was like, could I still have some lasting impacts from those drugs back then? And he said, oh, of course. Because they were some powerful drugs. And so that's another layer of added complication. He's like, is it probable? No. Is it possible? Of course it is. Mm-hmm. Like, those are some fucked up drugs. They kill all the cells in your body.
Yeah.
And they're neurotoxins. And they're some of the worst drugs there are. Don't get me wrong. I'm alive today because of them.
Right.
But it would be nice if the other doctors that are prescribing me medicines were also taking that into consideration. Now the problem is, maybe they are, and they're like, "Hey, look, we're going to give it a try, and if you have these complications, let us know, and we're going to alter the situation, right?" So maybe that's what the conversation tomorrow is going to start being, is me. But again, but then I've got to go to the ENT. Then I got to go to the gastro guy, and I've got to explain all these things. And that's another thing. I got to explain this thing 3, 4, 5 different times.
Oh yeah.
It's like, for Christ's sake, man. Then you got to hope I don't leave something out, or don't forget something, or I forgot one of the drugs I'm taking, and look, I get it. 47, overweight. I get it from all the fucking stands and the bros.
Yeah.
Oh, lose weight, asshole. I got you.
That's kind of you're trying to do that.
That's kind of the point of the GLP-1.
Yeah.
Like, I get it. And I'm working on it. Haven't stopped. Like, that's another thing. Been trying it for 9 months. Haven't gone off the wagon.
Right.
Which is a fucking feat in itself. And that's another frustrating thing, though. Lose 70 pounds and you feel worse than you did when you started.
Yeah.
Maybe not physically, but mentally. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, did I don't know what the right euphemism is, but basically, did I rob Peter to pay Paul? And at that point, it's like, okay, well, which one was better, Peter or Paul? Can I even get back to Peter?
Right.
Like, can I get back to that so my head's not fucking a mess? At least that point, I was fat and out of shape, maybe a little sore here and there, and probably was going to die 10 years earlier. But every day wasn't a struggle in my head. Mm-hmm. And not every day. I'm over exaggerating.
Sure.
But the thought of driving over the Severn Bridge gives me fucking agita. It gives me indigestion. I don't want to have indigestion just to go over the bridge. No, 5 minutes down the road.
Small. You have to drive over to do pretty much anything.
Right.
Unless you take the really long way.
Well, the funny part, so when I have to go to some of these appointments in Annapolis, I go over the Naval Academy Bridge. I go out of my way to go. And don't get me wrong, it probably adds 3 minutes because it's not that big of a difference. But it's still a difference.
Yeah, so that bridge doesn't bother you?
A minor bit. Like, not a whole bunch. And it's weird. Some days it might be worse than others. Well, I can't figure this shit out. Yeah. It's not consistent.
Yep.
For whatever reason. And the other thing is, like, I can have someone else drive me over that Severn Bridge. Not even a tingle. Uh-huh. It's only when I'm driving it. It's like, fuck, man. It's almost like that. So this is when the therapist comes in. Well, maybe you don't feel in control of the car. Or maybe, and the other part was, we were driving back, or we went up to Mount Airy, which is about an hour away. I drove out there in the Yukon, no problem. Daylight, though. Nighttime, I was like, told my wife, because with the vision stuff at night, had the wife drive. She goes, wow, at 65, 70 miles an hour, this thing kind of gets a little squirrely on the highway, huh? Like the back end? Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, okay, so it's not just, so the car itself doesn't feel super stable. Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just a super soft riding car. It's got air suspension in the back, so it's going to feel softer, and it's going to move a little bit.
It has a solid rear axle.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And so then I'm wondering, is some of my issues with the car from feeling not in control because the car is not in control? Because when you go on that bridge, you basically turn right and turn left. There's like an S turn in front of it before you get, and it's a pretty hard left to get onto the bridge. Yeah. Well, maybe that, and there's movement side to side as I'm getting on the bridge. Maybe that's causing the issue. So maybe it's the car. But then, like, I do have some of the issue on my wife's car a little bit when I do the same thing. Is it less? Probably. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this is an external thing. Now, the vision thing, like the vision and focusing thing, no, that's always there. It doesn't matter which car I'm in. That's a completely separate issue. So there's still that part of it. But does that, like, kind of like with the IBS, though, me knowing I would have issues before I had the Lomodal, that would then cause anxiety, which would then cause shitting. Well, is this now that same cycle? Me thinking that there's going to be issue then causes an issue. It's your catch-22. Yeah. Until you do it enough and there's not an issue, the mental part subsides. It's still there. Mm-hmm. It continues. Until you do it enough times and you don't have that mental and physical reaction, right? And for me, the physical reaction is what causes the mental part, which then causes more of the physical part. and then it's fucking over and over and over again. It's like and the funny part is like, well, shit. How do you get out of this cycle? And again, this is where some kind of medical person, professional, I don't know what the term is, but someone who could be doing the research into this and finding the answers rather than me racking my brain day in and day out to try and figure this out without a medical degree, without a nursing degree. Someone who failed fucking biology in high school probably shouldn't be the one researching this. So guess who steps in? ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So for every doctor and professional who hates ChatGPT, at that point it's like, okay, well, maybe that patient needs more from you. Not every patient is an in and out. And like when I was talking to the doctor about, the GLP-1, and like, well, everyone I know has tolerated it. Okay, well, I'm a different person.
Sure.
Not everyone bats 1,000. So maybe I'm an exception. I know you're not an exception. No one's you're not.
They have that whole list of side effects they give you in the commercial. Patients with patients experiencing death should contact their physician immediately.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure there's a hotline for that.
Yeah.
In which they won't pick up because at 11 o'clock at night. Guess what? They're not working at 11 o'clock at night. Well, you should call the emergency room. Great. So I can, because you want to go sit in an emergency room for fucking 7 hours.
Oh yeah.
Like, again, that's another issue. Like, there's no in between. There's no in between for that. It's like I gotta wait for doctor's office hours. Urgent care is usually closed by 10, 11 o'clock. Some run fairly late at night, but that's usually packed too because there's so few of them. Mm-hmm. Or you go to the ER where if a gunshot comes in, everybody fucking waits.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Not that I'm saying it shouldn't. I mean, gunshots,
Well, plus there are people that use the ER as their physician anyway.
Oh, dude.
And the thing is, like, I hate going there so much. Like, I used to get really bad reflux and heartburn to the point where I felt like pressure in my chest, and I'd be, is this a heart attack? And I'm looking at, I installed the EKG app on my watch, and it looked normal. Here I am reading my own heart rhythm from my watch. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I don't need to go.
So. I've got one of those finger things that does my beats per minute, and oxygen rate. And like if I've got if I got something going on at night, I put that on. For whatever reason, that calms me down. Just being able to see it.
Yeah.
Most times, not every time, but I just put it on. I can read it. Because then I'll control my breathing, and then I can see it go down to see it's working.
Now, since I've had my surgery and lost all the weight, I don't get that, because I eat a lot different now, too. I don't get that, really bad, I think it was gas or indigestion, whatever it was. But I didn't wake my wife up, because if I had told her, like, you need to go to the hospital. Like, no, I don't want to go to the hospital.
It's like...
So I'm either going to be fine or dead, but not at the hospital.
This is going to sound horrible. I would rather die at home in 10 minutes than go to the hospital and wait 7 hours to live.
Yeah. You'd be dead. You won't know it. You won't know it.
It's that bad of an experience going to an ER. You got to hear all the crazy fucking people. Like dude, I was in the ER one time, and you heard someone just. It was at night, so all the crazies come out at night, and all the drunkards. And dude, it's just someone going off on someone. There's always like a police presence there to make sure they don't hurt the nurses. Dude, it's a shit show. It's not a fun place to go.
When I was in college, I was a security guard in a hospital, and it was the ER stories and the stuff that would come. And it was weird. Sunday nights were always the busiest, and it was a lot of people that didn't want to go to work on Monday. So they'd go in to get their doctor's note to not have to go to work on Monday, or the narc seekers, or the crazy people, or the frequent flyers. So I also worked on an ambulance. We'd pick up the frequent flyer, and then when it gets cold out, the homeless guy wants to kill himself, so he can get it, or he feigns some medical emergency. So you pull up and you're like, get in, drive him to the hospital, and you call, because you'd have to call your report in. So you get on they'd patch you through, and you're calling over the radio, and Like, hey, we have Mr. Brown again. Like, just take him to triage. What? I'm on the ambulance. I get to go in. Like, nope, triage for you. But yeah, no, you're right. It's an interesting place.
Yeah. So I like, and and so that brings up, that was going to bring up an issue of what AI in general and how awful it is, because it's not. It's weird. Like, I know you have to question the AI. You have to question the model, because it'll, like, if it tries to fake some shit and you ask it to recheck its sources, it will then tell you, "Oh no, I made this up."
Mm-hmm.
So you've got to do that if you're looking for something serious.
It's just like the doctor trying to get rid of you.
Right. Well, yeah. But like, I'm sure with like some legal cases, like it makes cases up that don't exist. So you've got to like, I guess because someone said it's coded to please the person using it.
Yeah.
So it wants to please you. So it creates something to please you.
Well, and also, it's going to do what you tell it to do. So if you're telling it to defend this case that's similar, create an argument for this case that's similar to that one using this, it's going to do it, and it's going to fill the holes with whatever it can figure out to fill the holes with.
I find it interesting how many businesses are starting up trying to present themselves as an AI to do some task you don't like doing.
Yeah, what's this one I keep seeing ads for? AI Armitage or something?
Something like that. But so there's one specifically, and there's two YouTube channels out there. There's one called Chevy Dude,
Mm-hmm.
and there's one called Car Edge. And Car Edge is probably the bigger one that people know. It's a
I know
website.
Chevy Dude. He now has his
He's
Mike's Car Stores.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he used to work at a big Chevrolet store, and now he owns his own little used car lot. But he also makes videos to kind of give buyers tips.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's kind of gone on this crusade against people he thinks are giving bad advice to other people, mostly for clickbait stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're doing it for clicks. And so he basically created an account on Car Edge and then tried to negotiate through Car Edge on a car at his own dealership. So basically, he wanted to see how the AI worked. So he posed as a buyer using a Car Edge account, paid for the Car Edge service, and used their AI chatbot to try and negotiate a deal. And he showed all the messages. Mm-hmm. And it was a fucking shit show. Like, there's no way a sales manager at a dealership doesn't know this is AI bullshit, because it doesn't answer questions. Like, there were answers that were non-answers. It kept asking for the same information over and over again, even if it was given it the first time. If I'm a sales manager and I'm dealing with that, he's like, most people just delete it. Mm-hmm. He goes, so how many dealerships are you really reaching?
Yeah.
And it's like, you're better off just taking the time to do it yourself. He goes, it's not very hard. You email or call, you give them the price you want to give them. But then, like, so it was interesting because his response was based to the AI was, well, where did you get that number? Like, so he shot himself a really low number. Mm-hmm. And then he wrote back to the AI, well, how'd you get that number? Well, it was just what the customer put in. And he's like, and he was like, I know I have this Chevy Colorado priced at $20,000, and it's the lowest priced Chevy Colorado within 20,000 miles, within 20,000 driven miles on the odometer, and within 100 miles geographically from him. And he's like, so I know it's the cheapest priced Colorado and within 100 miles of me. So he was basically asking, okay, well, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that number? Why is that your number? And he's like, maybe I'm wrong. But of course, I mean, it's him talking to him.
Right.
The interesting part, so I did this a while back with a Chevy Traverse Premier. It was a 2020 Chevy Traverse Premier with about 50,000 miles, and they were asking like 27,000. And I said, look, I just don't think it's worth that. I was like, what about 24? And the response was, well, where'd you get that number? Now, me, I don't put up with that bullshit. I just stopped the conversation right there. Mm-hmm. It's like, because you've had the car on the lot for 120 days, dickhead. You've had it for 4 months. No one's buying it at that price. You haven't lowered the price in 4 months, and nobody's bought it. That's how I know it's overpriced. The market talks, right? If you like, there's a guy right now. I sent a price. I sent 27,000 out the door for a Jeep Grand Cherokee L, 2021 with 50,000 miles. They have it listed for 27.5, which would mean it'd be about 29.30 out the door. But it's been there for 4 months at that price. Nobody's buying it. That's how I know that's not the market price of the car.
Right.
It's like, and of all people, you should know this. You work in the car industry, not me. All I know is that if it was worth that, you would have sold it by now. And you've tried to move the price up and down. That's not these car dealers. They don't just move the prices down anymore. They move it up and down to make it so. Like, you get the notification that they dropped the price. Well, it doesn't say they upped the price $1,000 to drop it $1,000.
Right.
All you see, there's a price drop. $1,000 price drop?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same price it was 2 weeks ago. But it's like, look, man, I just want to. I'm giving you 27.5 out the door. Can you do the deal or not? If you can't, what's your counter? Because you've got a car that's been sitting there for 4 months. But obviously, if I were to do that with AI, it would drive me nuts. I wouldn't want to deal with the AI.
Sure.
So as a car dealer, I wouldn't respond to that shit either.
Maybe that's why they want you to come in.
Right. Well, that's another thing. They always ask you to come in. Fuck you. I don't want to come in. When can you come and take a look at it? I don't need to take a look at it. I literally made you an offer. If I needed to come in and look at it, I would have come in and looked at it before I made an offer. Like I told the chatbot, I was like, I test drove this car for a week when I rented one. I'm good. I know how it drives.
Yeah.
So when can you come in? I'm not coming, motherfucker. I'm not. So and that's another. That's the opposite. Like, as a customer, I don't want to deal with your chatbot emails and your chat box.
Whenever I see those, I don't even put anything in it.
But they do it with the emails, though. Like, I don't know when I'm talking. Like, you can't with the first email. Like, if you do like the reach out, the next one that comes back is definitely going to be an AI. It's guaranteed.
Yeah.
And so, when can you come in? I'm not coming in. Oh, great. When can you come in? You'll be in a loop.
Yeah.
And the ability to reach an actual salesperson or sales manager without going into the store is fairly difficult. Or calling. You can call and get somebody. But as soon as you call, it's like, okay, I only want to negotiate over text or email. It's funny. There's another YouTube channel. It's called Delivered. DELIVRD. No RED. This is RD. This guy Tommy, and he just negotiates car deals on there. And he tells them all the time, we can do it via text or text, phone call, or email. He goes, but I'm not coming in.
Yeah.
And he gets deals done. And there are some dealerships that'll do it that way, and some that play that fucking AI game, the AI chatbot game. It's like, you're losing more customers than you're gaining. But they're trying to triage the tire kickers and all this other shit.
Sure.
But here's the thing. A tire kicker can turn into a buyer if you treat them properly.
I've been a tire kicker and turned into a buyer. Now, I was in person at the lot. But, yeah, if you were to go and say, oh, that guy... It's funny because I went to a Honda dealership. I was with an Accord. And no one came out to talk to me. So, we were driving back and I swung through a Nissan dealership. I ended up buying a Maxima that day.
But see, for me, though,
and
not coming out is a positive. Because the other day, I went up to go look at an Escalade, and the lady she came out.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't ask you to come out. If I want you, I'll come in. Because the other part of it is, I don't want you to predetermine which salesperson I get. I want someone who knows cars.
Yeah.
I don't want someone who can sell, a bag of rice to a rice field. I don't need that shit. I want to talk to someone who's going to tell me about the lifters on this 6.2, or the AFM delete, can tell me some shit about this car.
If you ask them, has AFM been deleted, and they at least know what you're talking about.
Sure, we can talk.
Yeah,
but if you're
they're like AFM, it has an AM/FM radio.
Or, these things are great. They're bulletproof. No, they're fucking not. Like, I already know you're another person I need to talk to.
Yeah.
Or, I get it. You're trying to sell cars, right? But I already know you purchased this thing. You took it on trade dirt cheap. let's not pretend people like you're trying to like. I get it. Some people are going to come in. They don't give a shit. They're going to pay you the sticker price. They're not going to know shit about the car. They just like it because it's shiny. It's new. It's like that. There was a 2018 Expedition XLT that I saw, and I went there and I started it up. The only reason I wanted to do a cold start on it. I asked him. I said, "How long has it been sitting here?" He goes, "Oh, it hasn't been started in 2 weeks." I said, "Perfect." Stepped on the brake, hit the thing, and I listened for the camshaft, the cam phaser rattle.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't have it. It did have some kind of a rattle, but that could have been the turbo wastegates or whatever. And I was like, look, I would really want, if I'm going to buy it, I think you have it priced pretty good. It was 74,000 miles on 2018, had a lot of the options in there. Great looking vehicle, 74,000 miles. They had a price like 24. It was not a bad price. I probably would have paid the 24. And I'm like, well, what do you guys do as far as warranties go? He's like, what do you mean warranty? It's a great car. Like, nah, these 3.5 liter twin turbos have cam phaser issues. If it's got the 10-speed transmission, could have transmission issues. I said I would need a warranty to protect me from these things. I mean, at least if you guys don't want to throw in a 12-month warranty, what do you got for me to buy? And if I got to buy a warranty, I know you'll make money on it, but maybe we lower the price of the car so I can buy a warranty on this thing. And they didn't really want to budge. I'm like, all right, like sell it to someone who doesn't like. To me though, that's like, okay, you're willing to sell it to someone who doesn't know shit about the car, and you know everything about that car. Mm-hmm. There's no car dealership, especially small ones, who are owned by car people that don't know every freaking wart.
Oh yeah,
that is possible with every car on their lot. Mm-hmm. Now they're there to sell cars. I get it, but then there are car dealers who know the known issues on these cars, and they do everything they can to mitigate those problems. Whether it's fluid changes, whether it's or even if they just say, "Hey, look, we'll do 6 months, 6,000 miles, just to make sure it wasn't an issue that was already there." If that makes you feel better, you know what? Yeah, it does. Yeah. Thanks. And if it comes back, don't like if they're the dealership. Oh well, you know, if something goes wrong, we'll make it right. Okay, well, let's put that in writing. Mm-hmm. I don't know you.
Yeah.
So make me feel better. And I would have paid the $24,000 for it. But it wasn't going to happen. So I'm like, okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think there was anything shady going on there. I just wasn't comfortable buying that car at that price with those miles, knowing what I know about the 2018s. If it was a 2020, I would have a much different feeling about it because they put in the new cam phasers then. Mm-hmm. And then the valve bodies got changed in the 10-speed in 2023. So that's why if I'm looking at Explorer, 2023 and up, if it's in my price range. Mm-hmm. Right? But right now, though, because they're only 2 years old, they're just starting to come off lease.
Yeah.
So it's going to be another 5 to 6 months before you see a flood of those come on and push the price down. But this isn't a car show. No. But my thing is, the AI portion of this is... I find it hysterical. And don't be wrong, I understand it's going to get better. But it's not great right now. It's far from great. It's great if you need to do research on the internet, mm-hmm. and you needed to go and aggregate information from a bunch of different websites.
Yeah.
That it can do.
Yeah. The
problem is you don't know if the websites it's pulling it from are accurate. It's just going to regurgitate what it finds. It's not going to verify the information. Mm-hmm. So you might get a bunch of information that could be complete shit, but AI packages it real fucking nice.
Oh, sure.
You know,
it's good at. It's good at language model stuff. You know, it's good with technical writing, stuff like that. But I wouldn't necessarily. If you're looking at it for stuff that you don't already have some basis of knowledge in, you know, like I put my resume through it. It made me look like a stud. Mm-hmm. So I had 2 versions of the resume done, and I was like, this is better than anything I could have done.
But did you have to edit it still?
If I were to use them, I'd run it through some sort of AI filter, mm-hmm. just to pull out the artifacts and things like that it'll leave.
Right.
But no, not. I mean, everything was spelled correctly, and things like that. So
Which is funny because our thumbnails,
it didn't do it.
It
Yeah.
didn't. But that's not like most of them that I run through AI.
Mm-hmm.
It's so I put in the prompt and it gives me 4 of them. Probably 2 to 3 of the 4 have misspellings or words that like I never put in there. They just slapped them in.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I've got to run it through 2 or 3 times just to get one that's usable, and then I've got to edit it. It's that bad. And like I've tried ChatGPT, I've tried Grok, and then the best one of all of them for images is Canva. And even that's rough. So yeah, I don't look. Do I want AI to be better than it is? Yes. I think there's some very good uses for it, but as it stands right now, nobody's job is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are putting it in place, look, and I understand I'm sure there's AI people. Whoa, you're not using the really good versions of it. Okay, well the versions I've seen suck. Sorry.
Right.
I mean, they unless there's I'm sure there's some hidden one. But the chances are the ones that you're paying someone to use, and I've tried some. I've tried Leonardo. I've tried some Artistly. I tried some of those. They were worse. They just suckered me into paying for it.
Yeah, the AI people. It's like the Chevy Cavalier sucks, but but you've never driven the Z24. No, I'm pretty sure that sucks too.
But yeah, so I guess and this episode was a little bit twofold. It was the medical coordination and then the use of AI to make up for the lack of coordination. But it's like a little bit of an indictment on the medical, the healthcare situation in this country, outside of insurance and all that. That's a different topic. And then I'm sure medical professionals get frustrated when people say, well, I ran this through ChatGPT. And they're probably like, fuck. All right, well, then other things have to change so that people don't run it through.
I don't feel the need to resort to the computerized AI 8-year-old.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But if you're in the real estate market, don't use any kind of AI. You want to go to Adam Chubbuck with TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. Douglas Realty in Pasadena, Maryland. Team Alpha Charlie. Go down, get on Adam's website at TACMD.com. That's TACMD.com. Schedule your appointment, and let Adam help you navigate the real estate market, especially as you slide into 2026. We will see you next week, and we'll wish you happy holidays then. Although if this will be released on 12/16, which is tomorrow. Happy Hanukkah to the Jewish folks. I guess folks, like I'm not married to one. It's like I don't have the lit up menorah in my window right now next to the Christmas tree. Screwing my kids up for years to come. Happy Hanukkah. We'll talk to you next week.